This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
That deer smelled that sweet freedom. Want to see his children again. My stepdad, he had other plans. See, he beat that deer to the road because he wanted it more. He got down on one knee. My stepdad unloaded the fire of Brad Pitt in the war movie on him. Deer didn't stand a chance.
I changed my mind. I like that opening more and more every time I hear it.
Yeah. My name's Corey Winfield.
Marney Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. So you could tell that I was being authentic in that open.
Oh, absolutely.
When I told that story and I was listening to it playback, I closed my eyes and I went back to that day in Buckley, Michigan, on a dirt road, some pine trees. I could see my stepdad running out there, and his orange hat comes flying off. And he was wearing like gray wool pants. Yeah.
Just like it was yesterday.
Yeah, that deer. November 15th, 1994, that deer went to deer heaven. Yeah. I didn't shoot that deer. I got credited with it.
If you heard the whole story.
Yeah, go back the 15th of this year if you want to hear the deer hunting story. Mm-hmm. It's good.
It's very entertaining.
That's how it happened.
Yeah.
My little brother, who was like 2 at the time, was like, there's no way it could happen that way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, shut up, man. You weren't there. I was there. I lived it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I had to live that. So, yeah, I know I talked about how I wanted to go into detail about how I feel about coping skills, which we can do a little bit later. But first, I want to talk about something I'm really excited about. This man by the name of Jonah Frick reached out to me on my Facebook fan page. He sent me a message. And he said he liked the podcast and stuff. That's cool. But he wrote a book. And it seems Jonah is in recovery. He works at a recovery place in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where I did some stomping around for a couple of years when I worked for WRKR, the rocker. But anyway, so Jonah reached out, so the podcast was cool. I was like, hey, man, I'd like to chat with you sometime. Now, he wasn't like, hey, let me come on the podcast, but he might have been implying that. Who knows? But after reading what his book was about, it's called Detox Hotel. And it's about this haunted detox. Mm-hmm. It's about time travel. So you already got me there. Ghost, time travel. Psh, I'm in, man. Of course, I want to build a time machine one day. Mm-hmm. And I've experienced ghost. Mm-hmm. So his book, right up my alley. The first thing I'm thinking, this has got to be a movie. I mean, just from the description alone, it should be a movie. My professional opinion as radio broadcaster, it should be a movie, and I should be in it.
You gonna pitch that to him?
Yes, and I'm gonna have him on next week sometime, and we'll talk about recovery. I love talking recovery, and then we'll talk about his book. I'm gonna coax him into.
We probably need to read it before we have him on.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon, read it on your Kindle. But see, that's the thing. Like, I like it when people read me books. I do. I like.
Who does that?
Well, I did some study years ago, maybe a couple years ago. Anyway, it was like, how do you learn best? You know, do you read? Do you like to watch stuff? Do you listen? And I don't know if it has to do with my career in radio or whatever, but I learn better when I listen. And so I took that test, and that's what it told me too. It was like, you know, your preferred method of learning is listening. So I don't like to read. I mean, I like to read. I can read, but I just would prefer. And like when I do college work, and you probably just think I'm lazy because I'll spend more time putting it into a Word document and then having Word read it to me then probably most people would they would go, well, just read the damn thing, Corey. It's only like 4 sentences. And I'm like, no, no, I gotta learn this. It's gonna be talked to.
Yeah. I retain more information too when I'm hearing as well. Because if I'm reading, I will like find myself a half page down and be like, what did I just read?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Mine starts wandering.
Yeah. Without even knowing.
Yeah, and there's other situations too where I'll be like,
Sexual relationship.
like tell or like to hear. Anyway, so Jonah Frick next week, and his book is called Detox Hotel. And I can't wait, man. Like just from the description, I'm so interested.
Yeah.
He should send me a free book, especially if I'm going to be in the movie.
That's right.
I got to learn the characters.
Well, you need then text him or email him back.
I did.
Say I would like a book signed,
Autographed.
Yeah.
I'll send him an autographed poster of Nico.
I
was going to auction that off for $1 million.
I know we didn't get any takers.
It's still out there though. If you'd like to have a autographed picture of my cat, like we'll take the ink pad and put a little paw on it. Tony Mello might do it.
He might.
He wants to do another podcast. I think it's just because he wants to see my cat. Is that weird?
You know what? I might believe that, actually.
I don't know. He brings my cat treats.
We love you, Tony.
I guess that's better than like trying to bring you chocolates or something. He's bringing my cat gifts. I'm
Right.
like, yeah. Okay.
I think it's adorable.
Yeah, it is. Tony's a cool cat. I think I hit that. Pretty funny. So big news kind of in your world.
Yeah, some potential awesome news. Still kind of laying low on it all, but there are definitely going to be some changes in my professional world. So,
and Mom, she doesn't mean she's pregnant.
Oh yeah, right.
Like, oh my God, that was so fun. Did we talk about that at Christmas?
I think so.
Because my mom got a gift from somebody and it didn't have a name on it. She thought it was from us, and it said "Open Christmas Day" in front of everybody. And so we get there to my parents' house in Coloma, and my mom's like, know what you're going to tell me? You guys expecting, we're like, nope, sure not. And we just got married last week, though. That was pretty cool. No, you guys are just waiting to tell me. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, she was sold on that's what was in the bag. And it was a book on chicken.
But it was called like How to Cook Cock, or I Like Cocks, or what was it? Something like that.
Yeah, it was something.
Is that what they call a rooster?
Something that she was not a big fan of it. It was an overall disappointment for Mom.
Yeah. It was like a joke book for my brother, and she did not like it. Yeah, can you imagine opening that? Like, you think it's going to be like something about, oh, you're going to be a grandma again, and then it's I like cocks, how I cook cock, or I don't know what it was. It was something like that.
Yeah.
It had to do with some kind of a reference of a chicken, a rooster, whatever. And yeah, that's why she was so mad. She was probably thinking, this is going to be just wonderful. What the? And she thought it was us that did it. I'm like, it was not me,
Right.
It wasn't me. Anyway, yeah, so we'll look forward to that great news.
Yeah.
And when it's time, then you can announce it.
Yeah.
Now, I have some interesting news.
What's that?
Besides, I'm going to star in Jonah Frick's movie when he gets that movie deal. I have a letter that I got in the mail today. Actually, it's an envelope. Is that how you say it?
An envelope. I called it envelope.
No, you called it an envelope.
Oh, I called it envelope.
Yeah,
I've always
like,
called
no,
it
it's
envelope.
envelope.
See, I can't even change what I...
I'm
trying to learn how to say it.
Out and envelope. And you're like, oh. Rich people call it envelope. But I have a manila envelope. And you thought it was from my brother. You're like, hey, you got a letter from your brother. I was like, oh, okay. Nope. See, my brother and my father have the same name. Brother's a junior. But I haven't opened it yet. Just got it today, and I don't know. Like, if you're familiar, listen to the podcast a lot, you know the story behind the letter. If you don't, just real quick, go back and listen. I'm not going to make everybody else sit through it. But I don't know how I'm going to feel. And you asked me, are you nervous? And yeah, no. When I open the letter, is it going to be just a card saying, hey, congrats on the wedding? Is it going to be a letter like responding back to what I wrote him? Is it going to go the way I hope it to go, which is that we can start building a relationship again? Mm-hmm. That's what I really want. Or it could go many ways. And I don't want to start speculating of how the ways it could go, because it's pointless. Why would I put myself through that when I can just open it? Mm-hmm. Those are the things that I would have done in the past. I would have, it's going to be this and that. I'd be worrying about it. And there's no point of that. Don't work yourself up over things that haven't happened. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to go the way that you're freaking out about.
Yeah. And you waste way too much time and energy and worry when you don't know.
Did you used to do that a lot?
I did. Yeah.
Like I didn't
all
know.
The time. Nights I would stay up. I mean, yeah.
And that pit of your stomach, and you're just like, God. Oh my God, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
But I know.
How am I going to fix this? How am I going to?
It could be called.
I could do that. What if that happens? If I do that, then what? That will happen.
Like one of the times I had that, it was with the electric company, and all I had to do was call them and say, hey, can you give me an extension for 10 days? And I was so freaked out about it. And then I didn't do it, and they shut my electric off. So, I mean, it was like, I don't know why I should have just called them. But then, like, later, they're like, we should call us and just ask us because we'll give you extensions on that. Oh, really? But again, if I would just would have called, and did the thing that I was so afraid of, because I've had electric companies just go, oh, okay, well, we'll be out there to shut it off then. I'm like, well, no, but I'm not getting paid till this day, and I just need, okay, well, it's got to be paid before the 23rd, so if you can't do that, we'll be out there to shut it off. I'm like, but don't do that. They're just like, okay, well, is that all? Is there something else I can do for you? Can you not shut it off? Oh, yeah, we can, but you have to get it paid before the 23rd. I'm like, but that's not going to happen. Okay, well, we'll be out there to shut it off. That was when I lived in Arkansas. I was like, are you kidding me? They hit me with some like $500 fee, and I'm like, what is this for? And they're like, well, we had a tornado come through about 10 years ago. We're recouping the cost on that. I'm like, I didn't even live here 10 years ago. Why is it $500? Or the total bill is $500, but like part of that was like $240, or it was something ridiculous for nothing.
Wow.
I was like, wait a minute. Anyway, so electric companies do concern me and worry me, but they shouldn't. At least they don't today, because I have the gas bill and you take care of the electric bill. But getting yourself worked up over stuff that hasn't happened yet is just kind of silly. So back to the dad's letter that's sitting there. I am going to open it. When we get done with the podcast and just see, I just hope, it goes the way I would like it to, with building a foundation to start up a relationship, a real father-son relationship where I'm sober.
Yeah. Which
would be the first time since I was 12, really. That I mean, not that I was drinking around my dad, but, he left when I was young, so he was never really around. And I flew out there for like a spring break or something of senior in high school. But, I mean, other than that, of course I wasn't drinking that much in high school, just on the weekends with the friends and stuff. But, like, to have 2 years clean, not since I was, like, 12. Mm-hmm. So, it's definitely a place where a relationship can start from. Mm-hmm. So, hopefully it goes that, and I'll just think positive. Yeah. If it doesn't, well, you know what? I did what I needed to do.
Exactly. That's what I said, is that you thought a lot about the whole thing before you even mailed him the letter, and what it was going to say, and what you felt like you should say, and what you needed to say. And from looking at it from the the standpoint of you're only telling him good things of what's going on with you. I mean, and to share that news with your father, who he is and will always be, I think that's you deserve that. However it's responded about, however he responds to it. But I would only imagine and hope and pray that, it's just that the letter was well received, and regardless, I mean, they responded, so that in itself is good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And you sent him pictures of us.
I did.
Yeah, so that was nice.
Yeah, because I figured he might as well have something pretty on his wall. Mm-hmm. Aww. Aww. Yeah, picture of our wedding. So, yeah. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. Mm-hmm. Let you know how that's going Saturday. Super Bowl's coming up. That's something a lot of people who drink, or I don't know, maybe people do drugs and watch the Super Bowl. I know it's a huge drinking day. A lot of people would base the whole day around it. And if you're in early recovery, my advice is to find some sober friends. Mm-hmm. Last year at the Super Bowl, I went with Samantha, Tyrone, Chris, I believe. There was a few people. We went to the Charlevoix AA club, and they had like people. We played euchre. We had like all kinds of food. It was fun, and it was fun. Mm-hmm. Sober people having a good time. I can't remember what we brought. We brought some kind of dish. I don't remember, but they had pizza. It was just a fun. It was a great time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if your local AA club is gonna do anything. But those are things you can check into, and not every AA club is like the one in Charlevoix. Yeah, but they had TV, big screen. I mean, it was sweet. It was fun. But look at that as an option. Don't watch it at all. Mm-hmm. That's an option as well. That's better than drinking. If you're sitting there all day, don't watch it then.
Yeah, sure thing on that.
Go hunting. Take a nap. Do some laundry. Mm-hmm.
Watch the Hunger Games marathons.
Is that on?
No.
Oh.
I'm just saying. I was just thinking of like trilogies or whatever that they have. Watch all the Star Wars again.
Go get Jonah Frick's book from Amazon and read it. Tell me if it's good.
Or you know what? Create your own get-together. Invite some of the people that that you're comfortable with, and that you can enjoy spending time with, and enjoy the game, and not have to worry about, the presence of drugs or alcohol, and, soak it all in. Just have a good time. Mm-hmm.
Should we talk about coping skills?
If you want to.
I don't really want to. I don't know. Here's my take on coping skills. I'm not going to go on and on about it, but coping skills are like a Band-Aid. It's going to come off, and the problem's still there. I guess if you put Neosporin, sometimes it can go away, but my point is, if you keep avoiding the problem of why you're truly miserable inside, why you keep reaching for the drugs, if you keep skirting around that, it's still there. Like, you can knit 18,000 jackets, but when you're done with that last one, guess what? The problem that you're running from is still there. Mm-hmm. So my advice is to, okay, if at that moment you need to cope with something and you need to just step away, but know the problem's there, acknowledge the problem, and then deal with it on your time.
I think that's how I think that my feelings about what coping skills actually means and what yours are maybe a little different. And I think they can be actually received differently in terms of what people think a coping skill actually, quote unquote, is. But, yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with personally tackling your addiction, that's huge, and it's so broad and so involved and so confusing, and it's a big thing. And so if you're on the road to sobriety and you're having troubles, or you're having issues, or you're triggered or whatever, they say, what are your coping skills? Like, what are you going to do at that moment? What do you do to get and you said step away, get your head out of the now. And, what do you do when you start going crazy, when you start, getting all squirrely? What do you do? What do you do to kind of take your mind, to take a break from the fact that, you're.
I color in a book.
Right. And you know what? And I think that's great. Nobody, but I mean, he's what I think you're saying is it's not that keeping yourself busy is not going to keep you sober.
Right. So what's your idea? You said yours is different than mine.
No, I'm saying I think it's a combination of things. I think coping skills is just like a temporary kind of, I think it's a reference to just what it is that would be an activity that you might do to get your mind off things. I'm not saying your coping skill is knitting. Like I knit or running. Yeah, because people they say that all the time. Go for a walk.
Yeah, but
that doesn't mean you're gonna walk 24 hours a day.
Yeah, it does. You can. No, like I've been in so many rooms, in so many treatment centers, and right up on they have the big board where you write up on the things on the easel, and you flip it over and write with marker and. List some coping skills. I've heard them all.
Well, coping skills doesn't have to be an activity either. But I mean, a coping skill could be to process.
Meditation. Like, there's all kinds of
to process.
But my point is the problem's still there.
Right. That's
so don't, like, when you're angry, what do you do when you're angry? You need a coping skill. Well, I go for a walk. Okay, great. No, because the problem is still there. When you go for a walk, okay, or you go for a run, or you go lift weights or punch the bag. I know, but it
means give your brain a break to actually process. That's what go for a walk means.
Then all you do is you think about it and you're walking and you get a little bit tired.
Not me.
Okay,
I don't know. What is I think coping skills is the root of it is to cope, right? To deal with.
No, coping and I think to cope and to deal with are two different things.
Well, it's to get through.
Cope is to
get through. Let's look it up.
Let's do it.
I don't
Should
have my
we pause
phone.
the show?
I'm a good girl. I leave my phone out.
Whatever. Okay. Let's look up to cope. I think to cope is to just accept. Yeah. Or not accept, but to.
No, not to accept. I think it's like.
Cope definition.
Cope.
Deal.
To deal? What? I'm sorry, what? What did it say?
Effectively with something
to
difficult.
Deal with. That's what I just said, and you said it wasn't.
Ability to cope with stress.
Oh, Marney 1, Corey 0.
That doesn't make sense, though.
It's the definition. How does it not make sense?
No, the definition is the roads are barely adequate to cope with the present traffic.
I'm not talking about whether the definition in
I'm
general is
angry.
what I said. Anyway.
To deal with and attempt to overcome problems and difficulties. As our schedule to maintain a constant definition, struggle or deal. To struggle or deal.
A lot in there.
It says to struggle or deal.
Okay, so how many times does it say deal and how many times does it say struggle?
I don't know. A couple times. Or both. They couldn't cope. I don't know. You know what? I think I'm going about it all wrong. I think coping skills definition. I'm going to win this.
Really? Just waiting for you to be wrong. The things you do to deal with.
Coping. Coping means to invest in one's own conscious effort to solve personal and interpersonal problems.
To deal with.
Didn't say that. In order to try to master, minimize, or tolerate less stress and conflict. That's what I'm looking for, to tolerate. Psychological coping mechanisms are commonly termed coping strategies or coping skills. Minimize or tolerate. That's what I was going for. Glad I looked that up.
I still win.
I win. I was looking for a ding, ding, ding bell.
No, there is not one because I win.
Let's go home. Let's get out of here. It's over.
Sore loser. That's okay.
No. But to tolerate it. That's how I view when someone says, oh, what are your coping skills? Dealing with the problem.
Maybe that's how you feel about coping skills.
Well, okay, so how is knitting a jacket dealing with the problem?
Well, let's say I liked knitting. Okay. I'm not saying it'd be dealing with the problem, but while I'm doing something that I enjoy, it calms me.
Yeah.
All right, and it puts my brain in a good spot to be able to process things where there's not anger and there's not worry and there's calmness. So I'm processing while I'm knitting.
Let's role play.
No, I'm not role playing.
All right, so you get home from work.
I'm not role playing. I'm not doing it.
Your husband has made a dinner that you don't like. And you told him you wanted steak. And he ordered a pizza, so he didn't really make it. Oh, you're angry. How do you cope?
That is ridiculous.
Thank you. Thank you for knowing that. How do you cope?
No, I was saying
what coping skills would you use?
But I personally?
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, why did you order a pizza when you knew I wanted steak?
Wow. Confrontation. See, where's the pants in this family?
I'm just, you asked me, we're doing the role play thing after I said I didn't want to, but.
And I say, oh, I thought you liked pizza.
I do, but I told you I wanted steak tonight.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Well, how about you still make me the steak and you can eat your pizza?
Yeah, think about the steak I gave to the neighbors.
Go get it back.
She already ate it.
Oh, go buy me another one.
I don't have no money.
I'll give you some.
My car.
Use mine.
Gas. I can't drive your car. I lost my keys.
I'll find them. Use mine. I have a spare.
I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll see you tomorrow. Takes me a while. So there.
No, it's not how it would go.
It was a horrible role play. That was my fault. That was a horrible situation. But my point is, though, most times when people say cope, they do mean like tolerate. If I have a problem, okay, say I'm having a hard time with a coworker, and they keep parking in my parking spot. Let's say, was that my cat?
Mm-hmm.
She's snoring over there?
Yeah. Nico's snoring.
Okay, say I'm having a problem with Nico snoring during the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I can hear it through my headphones. I could go knit a sweater. I could color in a book. I could go for a walk. Or I could just wake Nico up.
Mm-hmm.
I could deal with it. Just deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could write down on this pad of paper. This would be a coping skill. How her snoring affects me when I'm doing a podcast. Use some I statements. Be like, I feel taken advantage of when you snore during my podcast, because this is a time for me to get things off my chest. And I feel like you're disrespecting me when you snore during a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think it's rude, because you could have went to your bedroom.
Nico's bedroom?
Yeah, that was like a double I feel statement. It's a pretty good one. Yeah. But if I just walk away after I write that letter, I'm still mad at Nico for snoring during my podcast.
Are you, though? See, this is you. You're using your own personal. No, maybe that worked charms for the person that actually was bothered by the snoring.
But the snoring's still happening.
Maybe then how you're going to, like what you're going to do about it. Instead of just reacting.
Well.
Processing.
Yeah, I guess. But my point is, don't just go color your life away. Don't go walk 24 hours a day. Like, but you don't have to deal with the problem right then either. Like, this is a conversation I can have with Nico off the podcast, off air. And I can talk to her about it tomorrow. I'll sit her down when she's nice and comfortable, when she's sleeping in our bed. I'll go lay next to her. I'll just have a little talk. I'm like, hey, baby girl, like, you know, when Daddy's doing his podcast, you can't just come in the studio and start snoring. Like, I know you love hearing the podcast. You love listening to Daddy and Mommy talk, but the snoring's got to stop, girl. And she might look at me and go, something, you know. Mm-hmm. But I could have it in 2 weeks, as long as I'm aware of the situation. Mm-hmm. And don't let it eat me up and eat me up and eat me up and rev me up and rev me up and rev me up. You know, a lot of people with relationship issues will do that, or they'll be passive aggressive, you know, and then it gets to a point where the other one is just flat out aggressive when they come home and they get their steak and they're like, where's my effing steak? Mm-hmm. I want no stupid pizza. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes it turns aggressive. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to. And I would assume most of the people that are listening to this podcast are adults. And you're absolutely right. You know, instead of reacting, you know, take a minute, chill out. If that means going for a walk, to think about it. You know, as long as you're not just pushing it aside and thinking that, oh, you know, I'm just going to color this away. I'm going to jump rope this right out of me.
Right.
I guess that's my...
It's a combination of things.
Yeah. So I take back what I said about coping skills.
Finally.
Or at least cope. The word cope. Because that's the one that was talking about dealing.
Yeah.
Coping just said to get by.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all I have today. I'm going to open this letter. Is there something else?
No, I'm excited for you to open the letter and we can talk about it on Saturday.
Oh. Yeah, and there's something else I want to talk about on Saturday too.
What's that?
Well, I'm talking about it now.
Oh.
Coffee.
Oh, right.
Coffee. Recovery coffee.
Yes.
Yes. That and hats.
Yep.
217 gear.
Stuff.
Could be back on the market.
Stuff.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that kind of stuff. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, have a good night. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Oh, and thank you if you are one of the, what was it, like 341 people or something like that. Something like that, that have used Amazon Smile and put 217 Recovery as your donation source. How
Charity.
That works. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's smile.amazon.com is the website, but you put us on there, and then for every $2 you spend, they give us a penny. Mm-hmm. Hey, it adds up.
And if you have the Amazon app on your phone and you don't know what Smile is, if you just go to the menu bar and then you go up to, man, I can't remember what you click on. It's pretty obvious though. And then
use programs or something, features.
Yeah, programs or features. And then just scroll down to Amazon Smile and click on it, and it will immediately connect you to, and it's the same thing. It functions just the same, you wouldn't even know that you're in it.
And you'd be cool for it.
And it will say, what charity are you interested in? Blah, blah, blah. And then you just type in 217 Recovery, and it will just, and it'll be like, thank you for, and so you just keep on shopping like you.
Yeah, that's all you have to do at one time. Take 2 seconds, and we really appreciate it. And the support's amazing.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, if you haven't been on it yet, come on, man. You listen to the podcast, right? Give us a penny. Go spend $2 on Amazon so we can get a penny. Mm-hmm. But no, it does. It all adds up over time for sure, and it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so like I said, we really do appreciate that, and just want to say thanks.
Yep.
So appreciate it. 217recovery.com, blogs, resources, more info, and yeah, that's it.
All right.
We'll talk
Everyone
to you
have a good
Saturday.
night.
Super Bowl pre-show, pre-game.
Bye-bye.
See ya. I'm going to go cope now.